Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Assalamu Alaikum, Jai Shri Krishna to everybody. Welcome to our program of Shukrana today. I want to welcome everyone. My friends, let me see who's here today. Um, I'm all alone today, but it's okay. I have a plan to talk about somebody very, very important. And उनका भी जन्मदिन आने वाला है थोड़ी दिनों के बाद. I will talk about. Let me go into see who's here to my group. Let's see. Thank you so much. Welcome, Shashi ji and Kamlesh ji. Good morning to all both of you. जैसे मैं भी कह रही थी कि अभी गुरु नानक देव जी का जन्मदिन आया था इस महीने, actually end of November, beginning of this month. But we have somebody very, very special. उनका भी the whole world celebrates. तो आपने गेस तो कर लिया होगा, जीसस क्राइस्ट. तो मैं उनकी एक कहानी सुनाना चाहती हूँ उनके बारे में. गुड मॉर्निंग वरिंदर, हाउ आर यू? गुड मॉर्निंग शशि जी, गुड मॉर्निंग, एंड कमलेश जी, एवरीवन. So I just want to talk about, last time we discussed about Guru Nanak Dev Ji. मेरे साथ में थे निरिंदर जी. We had a very good discussion. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about Jesus Christ. And आपने देखा ही होगा आजकल के ज़माने में और पहले के ज़माने में, ये पहले से ही बातें चल रही हैं कितने दिनों से कि बिट्रेयल कैसे होती है. बिट्रेयल विद फैमिलीज, बिट्रेयल बहन भाइयों में, भाइयों के बीच में, बहनों के बीच में, फ्रेंड्स के बीच में, योर ट्रस्टेड पीपल. बिट्रेयल, जिसको आप बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रस्ट करते हो, समटाइम उधर से बिट्रेयल आ जाती है. सो बिट्रेयल इज़ अ वेरी वेरी डेंजरस थिंग. हम कितना लोगों को ट्रस्ट करते हैं, कितना करते हैं. तो जीसस क्राइस्ट की भी मैं स्टोरी बताती हूँ कि उनको कैसे बिट्रेयल हुई थी, एंड व्हाई ही वाज क्रूसिफाइड ऑन द क्रॉस. सो उनकी स्टोरी बड़ी सिंपल, जैसे गुरु नानक देव जी के साथ काफ़ी मिलती जुलती है. आई ऑलवेज से दैट very much alike. They both from a very humble family. He was called Jesus of Nazareth, and he was a baby of a very poor Jewish family, and was born in a stable in Bethlehem in the region of Galilee. His parents, Mary and Joseph, had traveled there as required by law for the Roman census. Jesus learned the trade of his father, a carpenter. The Bible states that as a boy he was filled with wisdom. जैसे गुरु नानक देव जी बचपन से ही उनको कितनी विजडम थी, कितनी समझ थी, कितनी चीज़ें करते थे. सेम थिंग विद जीसस क्राइस्ट. So I will say that he did not always follow the rules. The Bible story of Jesus as a child tells us of his going to Jerusalem with his family for a huge week-long Passover festival. As you all know that he was from a Jewish family, but the Jewish people are still waiting for the Messiah. They did not accept him as a Jewish person. Anyway, that's when the family began. When they went for a long weekend, to Jerusalem, and when the family was coming home, Jesus Christ stayed back in Jerusalem. And then Mary and Joseph thought the 12-year-old was with his friends, and he wasn't missed until the end of the day. Frantic, they eventually found him back in Jerusalem. He had been in the great temple all day, discussing religious matters with the rabbis. Mary and Joseph were furious, but Jesus said to his parents, "Why were you searching for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" Jesus was not referring to Joseph. The scriptures suggest the father he was referring to was God. So that's how he, at the age of 12, he was already beyond. The parents didn't understand kya keh raha hai, kya ho raha hai. And Jesus returned home and lived in a quiet life until he was 31 years old. At that time, he traveled to the region of Judea to see John the Baptist, a revered holy man who preached that the Messiah anticipated by the Jewish prophets would soon arrive. Jesus asked John to baptize him in the river Jordan. John protested, "I need to be baptized by you, and you come to me? And you come to me?" Jesus said, "Let it be so now." So John agreed and baptized Jesus. After his baptism, Jesus fasted and prayed in the desert for 40 days. देखो 40 days हमारे इंडियन में भी कितनी चीज़ें होती हैं 40 days. जैसे हम चिल्लिया करते हैं वो भी 40 दिन का होता है. Lot of things, for 40 days people do that. So they also did that at that time. When he came back from the desert, he began his ministry. In the biblical chapter of Acts, the Apostle Peter describes Jesus in the simple way. He went about doing good. Indeed, for the 3 years following his baptism, and 3 years was all that remained of his life. That is exactly what Jesus did. He travels almost constantly, mostly on foot, around the region near Jerusalem, preaching and teaching the love of God. So आपको याद ही होगा जब मैंने गुरु नानक देव जी का कहा था, वो भी सब दुनिया घूमे थे, काफ़ी मिडल ईस्ट में, इधर वो भी पैदल गए थे, वो भी walked. So that time they used to walk a lot. They used to do a lot of walking. And हमको कभी को बोले कि एक्सरसाइज करो, आधा घंटा वॉक करो, हम सोचते हैं shall we do that or not, or shall we go to the gym, what shall we do? Now you get, but look at how they used to walk those days. So Jesus taught differently from other rabbis. He taught that there was a higher authority than earthly law. Even then, Judaic law, and that being true to the higher moral law, was more important than anything else. He even delivered a new commandment, which he said superseded all others. While the core of the existing commandments could be said to be obey, the core of the new commandment was love. Jesus said, "Love the Lord your God and with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself." Another time Jesus said, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I love you. I have loved you." So ये चीज़ें same thing गुरु नानक देव जी ने कहा था कि सबसे प्यार से मिलो रहो, treat everybody like your own self, treat your neighbors, treat your everybody. कि आप सबको प्यार करो. कौन सी रिलीजन कहती है मत प्यार करो, बट रिलीजन में और लाइफ में betrayal भी बहुत बुरी चीज़ होती है. It happened, and it happened to Jesus Christ. That's what I'm going to tell you the story. Some Jewish people were incensed that Jesus would presume to offer a new commandment and claim it outranked commandments that they had lived by and transmitted loyally for thousands of years. They did not believe Jesus was the Messiah and that their faith had prophesied. See, the thing is that the Jewish people did not believe that he was the, I'm still not fully recovered from my cold. They did not believe that he was the Messiah, which even now they don't believe. They're still waiting for that. And Jesus they called him a blasphemer, a charismatic charlatan who undermined the Jewish faith. They blamed him for everything. And like they said, jealousy bhi to hoti hai, because he was beyond his age, he was beyond, higher than everybody in thinking. And all the rabbis and everybody, they got a little bit intimidated by him, that he knows more than them. He also taught in simple stories called parables, which made important ideas easy to understand. This endeared Jesus to the common people, but Jewish and civic leaders were suspicious of his influence and intentions. And in his first year of preaching, Jesus gathered 12 loyal followers to travel with him. Those are called the apostles. Jesus did not seek fame, but his fame grew. Crowds gathered and followed him wherever he went. Authorities became increasingly worried about his influence and concerned that people would defy their authority and follow Jesus. When they heard Jesus was returning to Jerusalem, some conspired to kill him. He had 12 apostles, like his followers, you can say, that's what they're called. And the Jewish people, the old elders, were trying to find someone who could be bribed. So the elders of the Jewish priesthood bribed one of the apostles called Judas Iscariot. He was one of the apostles. And they bribed him with 30 pieces of silver to betray Jesus. अपने बंदे देखो अपने he appointed those people to be his followers. They followed him everywhere. They did everything with him. But betrayal and bribery and पैसा देखो जीसस क्राइस्ट को भी ऐसे धोखा मिल चुका है. एंड हम तो कुछ भी नहीं है. आजकल दुनिया में देखो कितना कुछ चल रहा है. धोखा, बिट्रेयल, किसकी बात कोई कौन कर रहा है, कोई इसकी बात कर रहा है, कोई इसकी बात कर रहा है. So I would say be very, very careful who you tell anything to or who you speak and who you confide in. Nowadays, it's very difficult because you think they're your friends and you're loyal, but आपको मालूम पड़ेगा कौन क्या है. You can't find out. Everybody finds out in their own way. So with the 30 pieces of silver to betray Jesus, when they told him, when you identify Jesus with a kiss, so that we'll know that this is Jesus Christ. हम पक्का हो जाएंगे कि यकीन हो जाएगा कि ये Jesus Christ है. And that's what he did. Judas Iscariot went to the gathering and he went to Jesus and he kissed him. And the soldiers, all of a sudden, they all arrested Jesus and hauled him before the Caiaphas and high priest for judgment. With very little evidence, the in charge people condemned Jesus of blasphemy because he was teaching, and they said this is not according to what we are teaching. Who's he to tell us this thing? Who's he? Who's Jesus Christ? Who's this? He's not even the Messiah. We don't believe him. The Caiaphas did not have the authority to order an execution. However, only Pontius Pilate, the civil governor, could do that. So the following morning, they took Jesus before Pontius Pilate. Let's try to talk clamoring crowd out of their demand to see Jesus crucified. You know how Jesus was crucified? You know that? He was taken up on a cross. There was a big nail put into his arm, this side and this side. This is the way he was crucified. A gruesome and a brutal form of execution that was common at that time. They used to do this in those days. But the people shouted all the more, "Let him be crucified." Pilate gave to this pressure, but declared himself innocent of the blood of this just person. Pontius Pilate knew that he was doing wrong, but he was worried about his popularity. कि मैं अगर नहीं करूँगा तो मेरे सारे लोग मेरी को बात नहीं सुनने वाला. They whipped Jesus Christ and then they turned him over to the mob. Jesus was tortured by the mob. People spat at him, stabbed him, made him to wear a crown of thorns, and made him walk around the street to the place of the execution. A huge cross on his head. He would be crucified. Finally, they nailed his hands and feet to the cross and left him hanging in the sun to die. तो ये अगर देखो एक betrayal, उसके अपना ही बंदा follower, by giving a kiss of death on him, basically on Jesus Christ, and he betrayed him. Betrayal, that's what it is. So finally they nailed his hands and feet to the cross and left him hanging in the sun to die. It took hours of him hanging there. Can you just imagine the pain that he was suffering? At last he cried. Jesus Christ, he cried, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" And then he died. Throughout his life, Jesus never traveled further than 90 miles from the place he was born. He preached for only 3 years. He taught love, forgiveness, and mercy, yet was treated with brutality. Perhaps the final abuse of him helped create the very result the authorities feared. In the end, this fervent, barefooted, itinerant preacher did change the world. देखो आप कितनी दुनिया में people believe in Jesus Christ, उनकी celebration होती है. But how he was, what did he have to sacrifice for the people to follow him and believe in him? मैं थोड़ी उसकी story बताती हूँ. Jesus Christ, how was he? Who was Jesus? Who was Judas Iscariot? Judas Iscariot, whose name became so synonymous with betrayal that he is hardly mentioned in the Gospels, without a phrase such as "who betrayed him" or "who betrayed it became a traitor." We aren't sure exactly what motivated him to betray Jesus, except we do know he struggled with greed. देखो, greed is a big no. Should not have greed. But आजकल के ज़माने में किसके पास जाओ, सब पैसे के लिए क्या क्या नहीं करते, झूठ बोलना, ये करना, वो करना, lying and getting documents done, झूठ बोलना, any way they can make money. Greed is the very bad demanding thing, demands people to do things that they don't want to do, but they're doing it for the sake of money. And आपको सबको मालूम ही है, पैसा यहीं पर रह जाना है, कुछ कहीं नहीं जाने वाला, कहीं नहीं जा रहा, इधर ही सब कुछ रहेगा. आपकी love, forgiveness, compassion, charitable things, helping people, that will remain. People remember you, people remember who you are. But if you do all greedy things, greediness, ye karo, wo karo, kisko dhoka do, it's not going to get you anywhere. You might make some money, yeah. You might get a bigger house, yes. You might get a bigger car, yes. But betrayal, people like Jesus Christ, kitne mahan, what a great person he was. But he was so badly treated. Judas treated him so badly. He was a traitor, and his name is synonymous with that now in the history. Just for 30 pieces of silver. I guess in that time, 30 pieces of silver was worth a lot of money. And he arranged to have those people, kissed him, Jesus Christ, then they knew who he was. So he would let them know who Jesus by greeting him with a kiss. Thus, Judas' kiss has become the quintessential metaphor for betrayal. Jesus' question in reply says it all. Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? That's what Jesus said to him when he knew what he was doing. And then he had to go through all the suffering. So because दुनिया में किसको betray मत करो. Betrayal can lead to so many things. A lot of things. And आपने history में सुना भी होगा. मैंने पूरी पढ़ी नहीं है story, but I know that I saw the movie too. Delilah and Samson. किसने कितनी movies इसके बारे में आ चुकी हैं. Delilah and Samson, although lovers, didn't trust each other. मैं उनकी story बता रही हूँ. अब Jesus Christ की तो मैंने बताई, अब मैं दूसरी बता रही हूँ story about Delilah and Samson. Although they were lovers, Samson and Delilah didn't trust each other. Samson, the strong man whose secret was yet unknown, kept telling the persistent Delilah the secret of his strength. Example, I've never been tied with fresh bowstrings. I've never tied with new ropes. My hair has never been woven into the fabric on the loom. Suddenly, she would do what supposedly drain him of his strength, and then call the Philistines to come and arrest him. So although she was being in love with him, showing she loves him, but she wanted to know his strength kahan par thi. Once she found out, she betrayed him with the Philistines to come and arrest him. And only for him to, then he laughed it off and easily he fought the soldiers off as normal. Both Samson and Delilah kept up this flirtation until it escalated into Samson finally revealing the true secret. After putting him to sleep on her lap, she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair. And so began the subtle, she wanted to subdue him. And his strength left him. So Samson, आपको मालूम ही है कि Samson, he's like the show. When you see the movies, he looks like a strong man. He could do everything. And Delilah wanted to know what was his strength, and she kept on flirting with him. She pretending to be in love with him until she found out what it was. And when she did, she got all his hair cut off because that's all she wanted to do. Because she was also probably getting something from the Philistines. And his strength left him. Don't be surprised if a relationship built on self-interest becomes a betrayal. देखो, so lovers में भी होता है, you know, people are in love, they love each other, they do this. क्या क्या नहीं लोग कहते कि मैं love में हूँ, मैं ये हूँ, मैं वो हूँ. I'm sure most of them are in love, they do anything for each other, but not everybody is. There's some people, they do betray, they do this kind of things. Greed, money, self-importance, self आगे को बढ़ाना अपने आप को. And then also एक और भी story है. I don't know if you know about this one, but I will tell you. Joseph's brothers betray Joseph. You know, you must have heard of Abraham. सबने सुना हुआ है Abraham. पुराने ज़माने में Old Testament में he was a very great person. Abraham's grandson Jacob had 12 sons, one of which was clearly his favorite, as the firstborn of his favorite wife. You know, those days they had more than one wife. They had different wives, and he had 12 sons. Out of them, one was the firstborn of his favorite wife, and this favorite son was called Joseph. Cluelessly, he used to share his dreams with his brothers, even when those dreams depicted his brothers bowing over him, first as sheets of grain, then as stars. As shepherds, the brothers were grazing their flocks when their father sent Joseph to check on them. When they saw him coming, they voiced to each other how much they hated him and wanted to see him dead. देखो पूरे भाई कितने भाई थे, 12 भाई थे, उनमें से एक था जोसेफ. उनमें से सारे 11 of them, they all said the same thing. They were all jealous of him because the father used to give him a lot of attention, and they all said they all didn't like him. They wanted to see him dead. So the wish turned into plotting. So they needed only to wear the mask a few moments longer until he was safely in their ambush. The brothers then grabbed him, stripped him of the multicolored tunic which set him apart as their father's favorite, and threw him into a waterless cistern. पानी होता ना उसके अंदर उसको बेचारे को फेंक दिया. So envy is the narrowest set of blinders you can wear, as it reduces your sense of justice to a single obsessive bullseye. It didn't matter that Joseph had done nothing worth punishment or that he was their flesh and blood. All that mattered was expunging him from their lives to make room in their father's heart for themselves. When your sense of justice is dialed in by envy, the bullseyes will feel like justice for you, though the bullet will hit the other person as betrayal. So देखो ये भाइयों में 12 brothers. The father Abraham's grandson Jacob had 12 sons, and Jacob liked Joseph, like his favorite, like maybe he was the youngest, he was his favorite, but the other brothers were jealous of him because he used to feel jealous कि हमको ऐसे क्यों नहीं हुआ, हमको क्यों नहीं हुआ. So he was betrayed. That's another story. So देखो ना, पहले Jesus Christ from his followers, then Delilah betrayed Samson, then Joseph by his brothers. तो भाइयों में तो Cain and Abel की भी story है, दोनों brothers थे. I think they were twins also. Cain and Abel were best of friends, which makes this story one of the saddest in the Bible. When the brothers gave offerings to God, but only Abel was favored. Cain grew jealous and sullen. God warned Cain of the civil crouching at his door, yet Cain's mind only kept pulsating with the need to get even. A plan came to him which involved betrayal. Pretending as if things were fine once again, Cain gave his brother a friendly invitation. Let's go out into the field. And there, Cain killed him. Something as repugnant as betrayal sprouts best in the shadows of envy. So they call envy, betrayal, greed, jealousy. Jealousy is a very big thing. आजकल के देखो ये सब चीजें अभी भी हैं. There's nothing is gone. It's still there. Money, betrayal, greed, and like it's very sad when you see that भाई भी में भी ऐसे हो रहा है. भाइयों में that one brother 11 brothers, they killed Joseph. And then this Cain and Abel, the same thing. So these are some of the stories I wanted to tell everyone about betrayal. My thing was betrayal कौन जमाने में भी कितनी बुरी तरह हुआ है. And देखो ना, maybe we don't know it, but it's happening even now. A lot of the things are happening in this world that we don't know. But I know one thing: there's a lot of greed. There is a lot of betrayal. There's no loyalty left anymore. There's a lot of greed, like I said before as well, that ये सब कुछ यहीं पर आ जाना है. But all the good things that you do, which might not be a lot of money, there's no money involved, but the good deeds that you do will remain forever, and your name will be attached to that. So and so ने इतना ये किया था. देखो Jesus Christ की अभी तक कितने, the whole world celebrates his birthday. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, all over the world, they were both from very humble beginnings. You don't have to be a billionaire to be popular or anything. It depends on what good deeds you do. Billionaire became billionaire because he made more and more money. Now, was that all? I'm not saying everybody's like that, but with honesty or not, we don't know. You just have to give them the, we don't have to doubt them, but we don't really know that क्या कैसे हुआ, इतना बड़ी पढ़ रहा है, ये हो रहा है. Let's hope for the best that they were honest and they got this far. But to do a good deed, to be a good person, you don't need that. It can be from a very humble beginning. Many times when I go to India, मैं देखती हूँ, I used to sit, in India, there's so many people. Like I used to sit next to my window, watch, look around. And over here, if I look out, I don't see anybody walking. But India में होता है कि सारी दुनिया काम करी, मजदूर काम से आ रहे होते हैं, उनकी बीवी आ रही होती है, बच्चे आ रहे होते हैं. And you know what the first thing I hear from them? Maybe they don't have anything much to eat. They're very simple. They don't have any shoes for the children. कपड़े भी ऐसे पहने, but they all laughing and they're joking around. The kids are laughing, playing on the way. With the stones, sticks se khel rahe hain. They don't need very expensive toys, very simple things. Maybe they don't have any shoes, but the laughter is so infectious, and you can see how happy they are. How they're happy to be with their parents. The parents they worked the whole day. They made some money to come home, honest living. Mazdoor the, kaam karke aa rahe hain. And they're coming with their family, and they're looking very happy together. So money can be a big, lot of times you hear about all these things too. The people with a lot of money, their children, they said, but what do we have to work for? We have so much money. We don't need money to work for. We can have money as much as we want. We can buy whatever we want. But those are the wrong things. And a lot of those children, they committed suicide. So I always say that it's good to do something. Don't be idle. Don't just sit home and do nothing. Kuch to karo. Do something society ke liye, do some community service, or do some charity work. Go to the soup kitchen. You can go to the hospital and once in a week or once in 2 weeks or something, and help in some children's ward, preemies. Kabhi bahut zarorat hoti hai. Even the elderly, they need someone to come to talk to them. Sometimes they're ignored, in the elderly homes. There are a lot of them. The children don't come to see them. So they need that. And even the orphans, the orphans need someone to come and say hello to them, especially nowadays. Because nowadays, abhi Christmas aa rahi hai, holiday season is here. Hanukkah is starting today, I believe. So these things, we should always try to donate some toys, some clothes, maybe a jacket, maybe a coat, maybe a book, maybe a small thing, to all these charities. There's a good time of the year. So let's forget about other things, negative things, betrayal, jealousy and all that. Let's be nice this time of the year and do what we can. This is what all the people wanted. Jesus Christ, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, jiska naam lo, Ram, Krishna, everybody, in any religion, anything, they all want you to be humble, be nice, be peaceful, help each other, be charitable. Charitable throughout the year, especially at the end of the year, like this time of the year. A lot of people need, because it's cold over here, people need things. Some people don't have. A lot of immigrants who came here, they don't come with jackets and coats. They just come with what they have. They don't have anything. So a lot of things are needed. So hum kehte hain bhi thoda help karo sabko. That's my wish, and I wanted to let you know that what betrayal can do to someone. You might think, am I school, like betrayal in the families, jealousy in बहन भाइयों में, it's really very toxic, very bad, very, very bad. Let's keep away from all these bad things and try to be nice this time of the year. Help each other, be nice, and try to do charity as much as you can, which is a good thing. Throughout the year, karo, but especially like I said, this time of the year is very needed. Yeah, very much. And also be keep on going to your temples, your gurdwaras, your mandirs. Just very important for you to meet people there. Do charity work as well. Meet your friends. You should go out, have nice lunch, enjoy yourself, and think about doing something for, instead of sitting there and gossiping or talking about this and that. Why don't you plan something? Let's help someone. Go to the soup kitchen. Let's drop off something there. Let's go to the orphanage and see the kids one day. The kids will be so happy to see you. So all these things, brings you happiness when you do something good for someone. It's the other way around. It's not that we are doing something, it's that for someone, it's that you're doing something for yourself. And at the end of the day, you want to make yourself happy, right? I'm sure you all do. So I will end it here. It's a different type of a session, but I just wanted to tell you a couple of stories about life, what went on with all these biblical people, Samson and Delilah, Jesus Christ, Judas, Joseph, Abel and Cain. Next time when I get a chance, I will tell you a little bit more about different biblical characters, people in the Bible. I want to talk more about Moses. Next time I will plan to do that. But anyway, meantime, have a wonderful Shukrana. Have a wonderful day. And weekend, be safe, drive safely, and have a great time with your families. And so enjoy yourself. Be nice to your neighbors. Like I said, think of your neighbor as yourself. At the end of it, some of us even know the neighbors. Sometimes the neighbors are to themselves. You have to just make an effort to go and say hello. How are you? Kabhi mil jaye bahar. Hi. Need anything? We are next door neighbors. We'll help each other. So anyway, so thanks a lot for watching and listening to me. And I will say goodbye. Have a nice weekend. Bye everyone.